Welcome to Campaholics.
I'm Christy.
I'm Mandy.
And I'd rather be camping. All right, go jump in a lake.
Yeah, go catch something.
Oh, okay. Hopefully something good, like a halibut or like a salmon.
Oh my goodness.
Or you could catch something shitty and just release it.
Okay.
Let her go.
Seriously, how many fish names do we know?
Fish name? Oh, not that many.
Okay, whatever. Fish.
I mean, okay. Flounder. Tuna. Yellowtail.
Dang. Swordfish.
Sailfish.
Sailfish?
They're really cool, actually. I forget what they're... I guess that's all. Like anglerfish.
Okay. Dang, you really know your fish.
I watch a lot of Discovery Channel. Remember that series where they did I don't know, some long series they did of like the planet Earth, and they did like each episode was like a whole section, and they did one of the deep sea, right? And like I love that shit. I will watch it all day, every day.
Okay. This is news.
I really think I should have if I wasn't doing this, I would have been
Commentary.
Yeah, I could have been the Sigourney Weaver of the BBC world.
That's funny.
And the dolphins migrate in a pod every spring.
Oh my gosh.
Actually, I know a lot of fun facts about dolphins. Did you know they're the only mammal other than humans that fornicate just for fun?
What the
crazy.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, if you didn't like dolphins before, now you do.
Oh man. All right, back to our episode.
Sorry, go jump in a lake.
Yeah, that's ocean water.
It feeds together somehow through the, channels.
Universe. Okay.
Got hot in
here. Fishing, obviously, you could do at the lake.
Swimming.
Kayaking. Swimming. I don't really like swimming in a lake.
I don't either. I don't like swimming anywhere that's not a pool, because if I can't see the bottom, I know swimmy. I'm afraid something's gonna bite my feet.
I know.
Or what if something gets tangled
or you step on something and it cuts your foot?
What is it?
I don't know. Well, we kind of talked about just making sure you have flip-flops in the shower.
Water shoes in the lake.
It all comes back to feet.
Water shoes. I will say, I underestimated water shoes, and then I started using them a lot more, and they are good for a lot of things.
I do agree. Like kayaking or going on a raft trip, you must have water shoes.
Or in some of our previous stuff, we've talked about certain hikes where you're hiking in the water. There's no way around it. So it's like, I've even hiked in my hiking shoes and had my water shoes tied to my backpack, and then you'll switch and then switch back.
That's smart. You got to protect your soles.
You do.
Yes. And I know being diabetic, you totally have to watch your feet, because any type of little tiny cut can turn into something really bad. So,
well, even in general, right? Like if you're out camping or hiking, the last thing you want is an injury on your foot, because that's your transportation.
Yeah, for everything. Especially frisbee golf.
Oh, and you don't want to lose
playing those games if you're... So yeah, speaking of feet and lakes, I enjoy a nice walk or hike around the lake.
Yeah.
There's one in Prescott that I've walked around a couple times, and it's just pretty and relaxing. Obviously, if it's not too long of a hike, but
a lot of those hikes around the lakes usually have little scenic points, or a little bench, which is nice.
Or a picnic table. Yeah, so that's fun to do. I know when I was younger, we did fish a lot, but as I got older, I'd rather just go sit and relax by the lake instead of fishing.
Yeah, I'll tell people I'm fishing, but really I'm just drinking.
I ain't catching that fish.
No, I just want to go be alone.
Yeah, but I do like going to the lake and kayaking. That's fun.
Kayaking is fun. You know what I really want to do this summer is, we live so close to the Salt River, and there's so many people that talk about kayaking the Salt River.
This person.
In moonlight at night.
Oh, moonlight. Yeah, I've heard of that too.
I want to do that.
That would be cool.
In the summer months, of course, when it's nice and warm out. But I really want to do that. So I'm actually supposed to go pick up my kayak.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Well, that's a long story.
Yeah, I mean, I think I tubed the river once, maybe twice when I was younger, and I'm like, never again. I will only kayak it.
Yeah, tubing is for amateurs. You got to kayak the river.
I want to go at my own. Like, I want to go faster if I can and avoid people.
There's so many benefits to the kayak as opposed to a tube. And one is that, and the second one is space.
Yes.
Like you can put a little cooler in there. You don't have to share that cooler.
You got your sunblock, like everything you need.
Yes.
I like everything. That.
I had a little radio in there. Like I was set up. I was ready to go.
And it's fun. Like the Salt River, I feel like if you go early enough, it's a little chilly, but you get the shade and you're not getting burnt, and you can just go, like we said, a little bit quicker. It's fun.
It is. Yeah. It's really nice. And it is so pretty. And I think
pretty.
It's sometimes hard to remember how beautiful that area is when there's so many fucking people there.
I know.
So it is nice to go early. It really is. Or
before the tubers get out on the water.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yeah, which they usually get there at like 10 a.m. So as long as you're
I know. I feel like you're golden if you're there by like 7.
Yeah, it's kind of perfect timing. And it does take a couple, if you take your time, it can take a couple hours.
I will have to say that one time we went kayaking on a lake and I did not compensate for the wind.
Oh my God, I'm so glad you said this.
So we went one way and I'm like, this is awesome. I'm good at this. I'm doing great. I'm keeping up pace with everybody. And then it was like time to go back.
Yeah.
And I realized that
it's not so easy.
The wind was not in my favor. And I had a really hard time.
I remember the same experience. Mine was, I remember it very vividly because Reese was with me on his own like child-sized kayak, okay? And I was really proud of him for kayaking out on his own. And I was like, yeah, we're badasses. Like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And then it was time to kayak back to shore. And like...
Kayak.
Not
the trail or the park.
It was by way of kayak. Kayak back.
Okay, I'm following.
And it was the same thing. I was like, I can do this. I'm going every day. Kayaking is fun. And then as soon as I had to go against the wind, which I didn't even realize was there.
Yeah.
And then you can't stop because so I'm going to my
momentum.
My arms are on fire and I'm going. I'm like, I need a break. And as soon as you take that break, the wind blows you backwards. You're like, no,
yes. It's like one step forward, 2 steps back.
I remember like a year or two after that situation, I was back at Watson Lake and it was someone else's time to do this. And I was in my kayak going out as they were coming in, right? And so I'm just chilling and the wind's pushing me out to where I want to go. So I'm just relaxing, the radio on, the hat on, right? And they're sweating and they're just like paddling. And I'm over here just like, whoa, you guys awesome. They were laughing. Oh my gosh, it was so funny. It was so good.
Yeah.
So if you guys see anyone out there struggling, cheer them on.
Yeah, you can do it.
Make friends with these people.
It's like Survivor. Come on, you got this.
We've all been there.
We've all been there.
But yes, it was like with Reese, I had to end up tying his kayak to my kayak. So if you thought it was already hard enough,
oh my goodness,
try having dead weight on the back. I'm like, try paddling. He's like, I am. I was like, no.
Watch, he's going the opposite direction.
I was like, you're using the paddle wrong.
You need a little motor.
Yeah, I wasn't against a trolling motor at that moment. I was like, how much do those cost? Because they make them for your kayak.
They do. I've seen them.
They also
and the paddle boards.
Yes, and they also make what's the thing I'm thinking of? An anchor. So if you wanted to like stay stationary, and it's
for your kayak.
So there's these kayaks that they set up for fishing. They're like fishing kayaks.
That's smart.
With like seats that rotate. Like,
yeah, I've seen those.
Yeah, if you go to like
an anchor though.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
I know. So you can obviously buy them separately. And I was like, I kind of want to buy me a little anchor. So you can just like, this is where I'm going to stay put and just hang out. You know, you're not going to go anywhere,
right?
That's awesome. My birthday's coming up.
Right. Hey, I think I remember somebody saying, I don't need anything else for camping.
Straight up. That was not that long ago either. Like, stop buying stuff. But this one last thing.
Anchor. Anchor's on. Anchor's away.
Anchor's away.
The SSS Kayak Christie Kayak.
Now that I have a Cricut, I could print
your name
for my fucking boat.
The Lady Christie's Kayak.
Lady Longstocking's kayak.
There you go.
Gondola.
Okay, so jumping in a lake or talking about lakes in general, there's a couple really cool lakes that we have had the privilege of camping at. I guess when I say we, Brian and we went to Lake Tahoe last year.
Super jealous.
Well, we were needed a stopping point on our trail up to Washington, and we said, we've never been to Lake Tahoe. Let's stay 2 nights there.
Yeah.
2 nights was not enough. It surprised me. It was so beautiful. I'm like, I have to come back here. I didn't realize it was like a whole city at the lake. I thought it was just going to be a little lake.
I had the same situation with Cannon Beach in Oregon. I thought just a
Small
quiet
lake.
Little coastal town. No
Yeah.
one's going to be here. We'll just stop in, see the
Yeah.
beach where the Goonies was filmed. No
Yeah.
biggie. Fuck no.
Huge.
Little shopping. I mean, it was super cute.
Yeah.
Tons of stuff to do, but I was not prepared for that type of crowd.
No. And even Lake Tahoe sits on the border, I think it's of California and Nevada. So on one side, right where the border is, there's casinos and everything. And then on the other side, it's not.
Which is so weird.
It is so weird, but it is kind of a cool little happening town, which I just had no idea what to expect. I had no expectations. So it was really pretty. I'll try to find some photos.
I do really want to go. Even
Yeah.
the pictures I've seen are just
And I would even go.
amazing.
It was a little bit hard with the trailer because there's only 3 ways in and out. And there's one way, the safe way for your trailer. And we did not take that way on the way in, but we did take that way on the way out. Anyhow, we'll have to go back. But another lake that was great was Jackson Lake at the Grand Tetons when we went. The water was like glass, and I would stay there again in a heartbeat. It was so pretty.
I do want to go there too.
Yeah. And I would say one of my disappointing lakes was Big Bear Lake, and maybe because I didn't experience it in the right way. We were there for 1 night, so it was quick. I think it would have been more of if that was my only destination,
Sure.
and I was staying in a lodge or a glorified campground or whatever, fine. But for 1 night, I was like, this is it. And maybe because we only saw one side of the lake, the other side maybe had some cool things, but it was okay.
Yeah.
I'd rather go back to Lake Tahoe.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm trying to think. I've only really ever camped at local, here there's that Lake Alamo with the donkeys that I talked about. I camped there. I don't think that I've really camped. Well, I guess there was Lake Apache, which is right by Canyon Lake.
Yeah. And I just camped at Canyon Lake a couple weekends ago. That's a great little spot too in the winter.
And it's not far.
No, and you're right there on the water, so a lot of kayaking. You can even take the Dolly steamboat for a ride if you'd like.
Cute.
It is.
Yeah. I had friends get married on that boat.
What?
Yeah, you can rent that out and do weddings out there. So
That's
they got
unique.
married out there 1 night on a full moon. It was so pretty.
And then when they were done, did they jump in the lake?
No.
Oh, okay.
Missed opportunity. But I wouldn't do it either. There's fish out there.
So we usually camp near lakes like Willow Springs, Woods Canyon. We used to on that side of the rim growing up. And then we started to camp near Potato Lake, but it's not really a lake. Come to find out, it's more like a pond, like a man-made little pond.
Oh, really?
But it's still really pretty. I like it. But yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. A lot of times I think, do I really want to camp by the water? Because I think of all the things the water brings. For one, the wildlife, animals drink water.
Yeah.
So they be coming around,
Yeah.
right? So I always get nervous. I feel like I always hear or see a lot more wildlife when I'm camping near the water.
Yes.
Which is fun.
Yeah.
But can also be something you need to be aware of. And then the other element to that is, again, depending on where and the time of the year, the bugs. Then you just have a fuck ton of mosquitoes. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't want to camp by the fucking water.
No.
Another thing to know is it changes the temperature, right? So it's if it's 72, but you're by the water, it's probably 65.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's there's always all these things.
Yeah, there's pros and cons about camping either on it or near it.
And I think, again, it all comes down to preparation. Camping near the ocean is so different. The mornings are cold and foggy, but the afternoons are different. So you kind of have to pack way different and be prepared for.
Yeah, that was my first time camping I take that back. When I was in high school, I did camp at a beach for 2 nights. I can barely remember. So I feel like this was my first legit camping by the ocean major trip, because we were there for a good chunk of time. And it was really pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it.
It is. I think there's something so peaceful about the water. I do love it. Or if there's like a little creek or a river, the sound is amazing. There's nothing like that.
I know. Again, on the Washington trip in Oregon, we camped by, I can't remember the name of the, I can't remember the name of the river. But it was so pretty. We put our feet in, but it was flowing pretty good. I'm like, I'm not getting all the way in. I'm going to get swept away.
I almost drowned in a river when I was little. And it was in Washington. Scary. So we were rafting down, and I think there were 2 boats, and we were just in, like, as far as I could remember, like a blow-up raft. Like, it wasn't anything.
Inflatable thing.
Yeah. And there were 2 rafts, and it was like me, my sister, and my dad in one, and then it was like my mom, my brother, and my grandparents in the other one. And they were up front, and me, my sister, and my dad were in the back. Well, we come up on like these rapids, and if you've ever been down a river, like rapids can be extremely deceiving because for one, they can look really intimidating and they turn out to be nothing. Or vice versa, it looks like nothing and it turns out to be something. And we hear a lot, especially like growing up in Washington with all the rivers and stuff, you hear about a lot of people getting stuck in the undertow within a river and getting pulled under that rapid and they can't get up. And that shit fucking happened. So my mom, I don't even remember what happened to that first raft. Like, I think they navigated it fine. But then because it was just my dad steering the second raft and he didn't have help because it was me and my sister who were probably like 8 and 10.
Oh, man.
Our raft flips. My dad goes under and gets sucked in the undertow, loses his glasses. So now he cannot see.
Where's your sister?
So me and her, luckily, were able to, like, when the raft flipped, we kind of got thrown off to one side where there was like a tree. So we grabbed onto the bank. And
That's
this
so
tree,
scary.
and we were, oh my God,
You're
it was
so little.
It was the scariest thing.
What was your mom like? Oh my goodness! Like,
I mean, being a kid, I was just focused on hanging on for dear life. But I'm sure had I looked up at my mom, she was probably shitting a brick. But I remember, like, she obviously got to us first. Yeah. She got out and got over to us on the riverbank and pulled us out. And then they lost my dad.
What?
Because he got pulled under. So then my grandpa had to go in and like dive under the water and save my dad. Never found his glasses. Like, we lost a bunch of shit. But at any rate, we all survived that little rafting trip. And then these motherfuckers, like a month later, want to go rafting?
Are you serious?
Bitch, I nearly died. I'm 9 years old.
They're like, I'm sitting this one out, folks.
I'm not trying to.
That's crazy. So it
was scary.
Yeah.
It was really scary. It took me a long time to get back in the water. And even still, like, certain sized rivers, I will not.
I'm surprised you own kayaks. Like, you want to.
Well, it's just getting
back on the horse.
Yeah. Well, the
it's different.
Salt
You're
River
older.
is so tame. Yeah, but I'm still not a strong swimmer. I'll give you that. And I don't wear a life jacket, so
it can be scary. Like, I think a lot of people do underestimate the power of water. It's funny, but it's scary.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Like, I mean, I encourage y'all to Google it because in Washington, I shit you not, being a little kid, we lived by this one river. Like, every week someone was drowning in that river.
That's freaky.
River, like, hiking trails by rivers were essentially all shut down because of all the fatalities we were having. They were like, nope, can't go near the water anymore because y'all can't handle it.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Or people were bungee jumping and drowning in the river, which is a whole other story.
Whole other meeting and episode. It's called Go Jump in a River. So when I was younger, went canoeing, and we were in Arkansas visiting relatives, and my dad, one of my older brothers, and my sister, one of my sisters, we were like, let's go canoeing. Okay. The 4 of us wanted to go canoeing. And my sister was like, well, I want to go in the canoe with Michael, because that was our brother's name, and he was super fit and young, and
he was like the cool one.
He was the cool one, but he was like I mean, he was adventurous, so you knew he could handle whatever.
Yeah, that's the guy I'd want to go with.
Yeah.
He can get me out of this rut.
Like, right. I'm like, he's going to do all the work. He's going to canoe. I'm like, fine, I'll go with Dad. I don't care. So Kelly and Michael go in one canoe. My dad and I are in another, and we're like, well, we're going to race. We were like going down the Missouri River. We get in, they flip over. My dad and I win the race, and we were like, that's what you get for thinking you got it all, and you want to go with your brother. I'm like, take that. Oh, man. I'm sure she'll have some words about this story, but yeah, it was just so funny. My dad and I were like, yeah, awesome. We did great. It was so funny.
That's amazing.
Oh, man.
I know. I'm trying to think if there was ever any. I think there was what I remember one of the first times I took Reese out, and it was Apache Lake. And he was probably like 3 or 4.
Dang, that's tiny.
And he, oh my God, it was so gross. We were just like, you know, like we collect rocks. Yeah. You just like kind of hang out by the little shoreline or whatever, right? So that's what we were doing. And he picked something up and he's like, Mommy, look. And I was like, oh, it's probably another rock, right? Whatever. Right. And like I looked down and he's holding a dead fish.
And who knows how long that fish has been dead.
I don't know. And I was like, trying not to freak him out, right? Because he's at that age that, like, if I freak out, he'll freak out. Yeah. So I'm trying to be like, oh, neato, like, just throw him back home and put him back in the water. And he's just like flopping it around. And then I was like, hey, send him home. And he's like, okay. And he gives it a kiss.
Oh, no. Don't do it, Reese.
I was like, oh, that was really sweet. That's disgusting. I was like, where's your toothbrush?
You're such a good mom, because I have a similar story, but this was a land animal. And Hannah was riding her bike just out here in front of this house here, and she's riding and comes back, Mom, look, a birdie. And I'm like, what?
First of all, fuck birds.
So she's got this bird hanging off her handlebar, holding on, riding back to show me this bird. And this was during, mind you, the bird flu season. And it's a pigeon, and it's dead, and it's huge. And I'm like, I just run up to her and I smack that thing out of her hand. Put that bird down. Forget trying to keep her from freaking out. I freaked out for the both of us.
Okay, well, first of all, birds are a completely different story.
So she went straight to the bath. I think I did too. I'm like, we're going to all get diseases.
I got the bird flu.
I don't know how long this thing had been dead, but it was dead. Oh, man. But that's so not gross. The first dead animal she's picked up. We've had tarantulas, snakes, all kinds of things.
Okay, so another thing that I really found out camping near rivers is the bugs or the
yes.
like I had you know, I've been camping a lot and hiking a lot, and I've been outside a lot in Arizona. But it wasn't until I camped near
I'm gonna guess what you're gonna talk about, because I feel like
I saw a bunch of things, but it wasn't until the riverside that I saw a snake.
That's what I was thinking you were gonna say. A water snake.
Because they're all in that fucking tall grass by the water side. Like, I shit you not, I've never seen more snakes than by a river.
Have you ever seen the movie Lonesome Dove?
No. Let me write this down.
Well, it's a saga, but
okay.
But it's a Western. But this like is where I first learned. We're not talking about the dove Hannah brought home. So this was where I first learned that there were water moccasins. I had never heard of them. And in this movie, a little spoiler alert, little Timmy, his name's not Timmy, but he gets taken down by the water moccasin.
Oh, shit.
And that's it.
Snappity
So ever since then, I was like, I have been fishing by lakes, camping by lakes, and I never knew about this. And I'm like, there's water snakes. Yeah. And I've seen them now in the water, but I'm like, I didn't know there were deadly snakes out there.
There are, and even rattlesnakes prefer it by the water. Like, because again, like they're just like any other animal, right? Like that's where they're at. So, but another thing, it was weird is, again, not until camping by a river did I never see a scorpion.
Yeah.
Until I was by a river. And then the craziest thing I'd ever seen was a Gila monster.
Ooh.
Which I hear is super rare to see.
It's super rare to see, like, yeah, you're right. I had only seen one in the zoo until a couple years ago.
Yeah.
When they were building houses next to our neighborhood, and all of a sudden Brian and I went out.
Gross.
And there's like, yeah, and when you read about them, they latch onto you and they don't let go.
And they're poisonous.
They're poisonous. And so we were just like, what the heck? We got to get this thing out.
They look really harmless,
They're
they're fucking not.
I know.
They're
they
probably
will get you.
I think they're the thing I'm most scared of in Arizona. Like, it's not the scorpions, it's not the snakes, it's not the tarantulas, it's the Gila monsters.
Oh, I'm scared of all of them. I'm like, when I was younger, we were picking up trash in the neighborhood, trying to do a good deed, and a scorpion crawled on me and stung me 3 times, and I had to go to the hospital because my arm was all swollen.
I've never been stung yet.
Yeah, it's not pretty. So, I mean, we used to go out back with our black lights and look for them because
it is fun.
And it's fun, but they would also get in our house. So I'm like, the more we can collect out here, the less they're going to get in our house.
Exactly.
Oh, man, I don't like scorpions.
No. But they're easy to kill, which I appreciate, because cockroaches are
but they come through vents. Like, we used to have them in our house because we had a basement, and they dropped down from the vent. So we knew, do not, when you rearrange your furniture, your bed does not go underneath the vent.
Or near, not even right up against the wall. You got to give it a gap.
Yes, exactly.
So
gap that.
Why don't you all sleep with that tonight? And plan your next water adventure. Bring your water shoes, your towels, your waterproof sunblock,
your bug spray.
Plan accordingly, y'all.
Yeah.
And outside of that, I think we don't need to hear about your water stories because we don't really love water. But I guess you have pictures. We'll take your pictures.
Yeah.
You can email those to I'd rather be camping with a K @gmail.com, or you can send it to us on Instagram.
Yeah.
Facebook.
Give us a shout out.
All
right. Cool.
Don't drown.
Bye.
Like this.